Hey guys, my name is Travis Wilson. I own and operate Precision Speed Products. Uh, Today I'm going to show you around my shop. It's a home garage. I utilize roughly 360 square feet. Got some CNC machines, some manual machines, saws. Basically, a scaled down version of a big shop, really utilizing a small space. I'm going to kind of say 360 square foot plus because since it is hooked to my personal garage, just on the other side of this wall, which I'll show you in a minute. I do have my welders and a little bit extra storage, but for the most part, the whole machine shop is in this space, and this space is 360 square feet. Let's get started. I have this set up with its own toolbox, drill index, tool holders, basically everything I'm going to need or think I'm going to need for most jobs. Obviously, as a job shop, random stuff comes up, so I got to constantly be updating. CAD system here. I use Fusion 360 for my design work and my programming. I like it. It works well. Does bang for your buck for sure. Workbench, some extra mics and stuff. Tool holders, and then you spin around. This area may look bigger than it is, but I'm zoomed out in the camera. Mini Mill 2 HAAS. So I chose this because this is basically the biggest machine I could fit in here. It offers single phase and three phase power, so it'll run off single phase, which is great. I had to do a little custom truss work, but it fits. 2 Kurt vices. I updated to tooling probe, spindle probe with that Pat Old Boys probe halo, 20 tool carousel, next gen control. Really like it. It works well here. It's actually impressed me more than I thought. I came from a shop with big machines and figured this would be more of a toy, and it's really not. You gotta adjust and do a lot of the modern tool pathing, which is like lighter, faster cuts, and it works well. So I can't complain. Got some fixture plates over here that I set up in either the vise or on the table, but works good. A couple knees on the floor. I keep everything oiled so I have no rust. Plus this is a climate controlled room. Just on the other side of that wall, as I was mentioning, I have the bench with the welder. Yeah, some storage, the welders. So I am cheating the 360 square foot space a little bit, but got the heat drop from the other bay. It's yeah, it's not bad in here. Just over 60, almost 65. Recently picked up this Kysor Johnson 1972 big saw. I have it on a pallet jack so I can move it around. Added coolant. Had to fix a few things. Fresh blade, but it just cut that 6-inch round diameter aluminum with like 20 thousandths of taper, so I can't complain. I bought that radiant heater. It kind of sucks, so I don't use it. This mill I started with, it's 1997 Prototrak with an M2. The screen's got some flutter and it doesn't always turn on, but it does work well when it does. It's on a VFD because these are 3-phase. Got an old Kurt vise. It's great for drilling, simple bolt circles. It does cut circles or squares or shapes if I want it to, but if I'm going to do anything like that, I'm just going to use the big machine unless it's too tall. This is my most recent purchase. This is a HAAS TL1. They have a TL1 and a TL2. I didn't want... A TL2 is the same thing but longer. And they say best bang for your buck, but I didn't have the space, so I went with the TL1. It's got a 16-inch swing, 30-inch between centers, and I don't do any real shaft work, so that's plenty. I added the chip conveyor, which I couldn't be happier with. I guess that's a new option for, I don't know if it was the year before or this year, but when you're cutting a lot in here, they make such a mess. It's amazing how much machine metal gets bigger because all the airspace. But you just turn the chip conveyor on, take the air hose or the water hose and just blow everything down to that conveyor, and it runs it out and drops it in the bucket, which is nice. I have some storage, as you can see in the back. Tool holders, drills, etc. This has been a little bit more of a problem. So I bought this off Craigslist. Guy talked kind of a big game, and it ended up being a little more worn out than I noticed. Ended up fixing the variable drive system, which ended up about 2 weeks ago blowing a seal, so I ended up ditching it. I have a VFD on this. This is also a 3-phase. And I moved the motor up to where that was and eliminated the whole clutch and reeve system. And now I can control the speed strictly off of VFD, which is, I like it. It's been nice. Made a new cross-slide screw last week. And as you can see, this thing has almost no backlash, which for a lead screw is quite impressive. I have a 3D printer, so I added this for the Z. You know, if I'm going to do anything precision, I'm going to do it on that. But for quick stuff, or, you know, while that's running, I have this with the collet set up too if I want to pop the chuck off and put it on. I have these 5C collets. Chip storage. That's been my biggest challenge. I try and put stuff kind of back here and out of the way as I fill it. So I try and keep steel and aluminum separate and go to the scrapyard with it. But these barrels, they're 32 gallon, I think. When they're full of steel, they are heavy. And I gotta like load them in the back of my truck and bring them to the scrapyard, which is not really a fun task. I gotta try and figure out a little bit better way. But I have enough of them, so at least it like justifies the trip. Hardware, like I said, saws. That's really it. The space is pretty good for just me, one person. Sometimes I'll have like somebody come in and use the manual lathe or something, and you don't really bump into each other that much, but it's definitely set up for one-way aisles. So me walking around, no problem. 2 people, a little more of a problem. 3 people would be terrible. But at this point, I don't have any employees, some part-time kids that help a little bit, but that's basically it. So yeah, that's basically it. I guess a little more of a background, like how I got into this. So I've been a machinist for like 10 years plus, something like that. I was working in aerospace, some prototype aerospace and defense stuff. 2020 hit. The pandemic kind of made corporate America a little tricky. So I ended up deciding to buy the mill to do car stuff. I have a product line that basically started from that, and it's nights and weekends was making car stuff. So that's my passion. It's my hobby. I have 2 on the other side of the wall. They was good. And then it turned into one friend was like, hey, since you have a business, like, would you want to make fixtures for mine? Because we're struggling with turnaround time. So I'm like, yeah, sure. And then the next, and then the next. And then I was working, 40 hours a week after my day job. And it was like, oh, I guess I should do this full time. So now I do aerospace fixturing, aerospace masking for certain coatings, regular job shop stuff. There's a few little manufacturing places around that I make. I'm not even sure what the stuff is. I just get prints mostly. So that, and then I do my product line, mostly just some billet accessories. But I'll do one-off stuff for the car guys, because cars are my hobby, so it's like a passion that will keep going. But otherwise, yeah, do some design work, do a lot of machining, help out friends, family, and, aerospace companies. So let me know what you think. It's a good use of the space. I try. Most of this stuff could be put in anyone's home garage, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. That's it.